Dr. Jeff Egler, welcome to sitting with us.
Yeah, this is fun. This is great.
Oh, it's awesome to see you. So, Dr. Egler, or Jeff, I'm lucky I'm calling Jeff, is the medical director of NextHealth.
Correct.
So before we jump in, I know we think everyone knows who NextHealth is, and I think everyone will know who NextHealth is.
Soon.
Based on the plan.
Yeah.
But maybe you could just share with us, like, who is NextHealth? What do you do differently? Why should they care?
Sure. Thanks for asking. So NextHealth, we are a health optimization and longevity center. So we started off as a company where you could have access to all of the wellness technologies that you might be interested in adding to your regimen. Cryotherapy, LED light therapy, LED sauna, hyperbaric oxygen, etc. And over the years, about a decade now, we have expanded to adding a number of wellness, advanced medical services, regenerative cell therapy.
IV, I mean, I've seen all
IVs are a big part of the membership. We're doing full functional medicine diagnostic testing, so that's really been...
That's where you come in.
That's where I come in. So any of our members can have individual consultations with us. Maybe they want to do a 3x4 genetics test and we'll sit down with them and go over their results. Or we put things into context of our biggest premier program is our executive physical program, where we work with people. Everybody gets a 3x4 genetics test, as well as a number of a large panel of other types of testing, biological age testing, functional medicine in terms of hormones, advanced cardiac panels, et cetera, et cetera. And we go over all this information initially, and then we take them through a year, repeating a number of testing quarterly so we can course correct as far as their wellness plans go.
So I know this is not serious, but two things came to mind. The first is...
It's not serious?
It's not serious. So NextHealth was doing longevity before it became
Way
trendy,
before,
right?
yeah,
Before
yeah.
there were conferences.
Yeah.
I'm at a longevity conference this weekend. I was at a longevity conference last week. And before it became like a really big deal, NextHealth was doing longevity.
It's true. I think we're one of the first ones in the game. And the reason that I work with NextHealth now is, as my evolution as a doctor has gone from traditional medicine to functional medicine, and that lifestyle medicine, and now longevity medicine, it's kind of, where everything should be going, right? The goal is to improve your longevity, which is both lifespan and healthspan, as you know.
Right.
I work with NextHealth now, and I'm excited to work because I have yet to find all of the resources, the technology in terms of diagnostics and treatment that are the cutting edge longevity therapeutics under one roof. I still haven't seen it anywhere else.
That's true.
And as we mentioning earlier in our conversation, that hopefully this will become a much better known name soon, because we are franchising and we are about to, in 2025, be international.
I was going to say, it's not just USA, you're franchising internationally.
Internationally as well, yeah. So it's a big deal.
It's a big deal. So, and one of the things that was amazing is when we started working with NextHealth, was really like, you immediately got the idea that every single patient you saw, that you needed to understand, you do a 3x4 test.
That's right? Yeah.
And no one had to twist your hand. That was done,
Right.
But there are two very interesting stories about NextHealth. So the first is, which I do love the story, and has a bit of humor in it. It's not serious.
Those are my favorite.
Yeah, me too. I went to visit NextHealth in Los Angeles, Century City.
Yeah.
And you said I could choose any treatment. I could choose any treatment I wanted to do. I was super excited.
Now, I was supposed to meet you, but I don't think our schedules coordinated.
Yeah, you went there.
Right.
So
you met me later at Studio 6.
That's right. I met you later, but you said, like, choose anything you want, and you can go. And
maybe I should have been a little bit more specific.
And I'm like, so I walk in and I'm like, what do you got? What have you got? And they're like, oh, we got cryotherapy. I was like, cryotherapy? Oh, that's going to be awesome. So
that's a big step.
Yeah, cryotherapy, fantastic. So someone very kind and very thoughtful from your clinic says, have you done cryotherapy before? And I'm like, no. And she's, well, you got to take off your clothes, and then you stand in the cylinder and we blow icy, very cold air, and it's very dangerous. And
Very
you know, it's like,
dangerous. They said it was very
how
dangerous.
dangerous, but then we're like, you need to start very, very slow with just a few minutes, and then we're gonna build up. And I was like, oh, well, that sounds fun.
Yeah, it's not dangerous, but
Not dangerous.
it can feel aggressive.
It's not dangerous. Anyway, but she's like, you need to start slow. And I was like, really? And she said, yeah, we're gonna start you just on a few minutes, see how you go, and if you're really enjoying that, we can add a few more minutes. So I said to her, you know, I'm kind of a cold water swimmer.
I remember that from our last conversation.
I'm a cold water swimmer. I think I'll be all right in her car. She goes, no, no, no. You know, Dr. Egler will be really upset. You know, I've got to start you slow. So I get into the cryotherapy and I'm like, this is kind of fun. Can I just stay here for a while? She goes, are you okay? I'm like, no, this is awesome. What's the longest I can stay in the cryotherapy mode? Because this is just like cold water swimming for me. So she was like, oh, you were being serious. You really do cold water swimming? I was like, no, I really do. So I
Never you telling me that. Well, you know what the interesting thing, so I've done a lot of research since I've been there for the past 2 years, and I was actually surprised to find that the benefits of, like, so I thought that if you were a cold water swimmer and you were spending a lot of time in the cold water, that would probably be better than hopping in a cryotherapy for 3.5 minutes. But it turns out, and granted, if you're a cold water swimmer and you're doing this all the time, that's fantastic. And the benefits are different. But I was surprised that in terms of like short water, like if you're gonna do a short swim versus one cryo, the benefits are actually better because of the severity of the cold and the reaction that causes in your body. It's just kind of a different level. Now, granted, if you're talking about chronically doing these things, you're doing really well with your cold water
I
swim.
would also say that, you know, cold water swimming can be dangerous. Cryotherapy, not.
Right.
So maybe you're better with your 3.5 minutes again. So that's the first story.
Not everybody, I mean, to your credit, not everybody can do 3.5 minutes of cryotherapy. And so it's not dangerous, but we do have to be careful with people that are really sensitive. You gotta.
Yeah. So that was my first experience of NextHealth, and I loved it. My second experience is I had to teach you how to drink coffee.
That's right. And that was and that's where I learned about your cold water.
Yeah, and we spoke about
I appreciate it. You really changed my coffee drinking significantly.
significantly. So those of you,
Still, I've maintained the change. Yeah.
you now drink flat white coffie.
That is my drink of choice.
Exactly. So that's really important. But okay, let's go back to NextHealth. So with the change we're seeing, and with your, I mean, you probably more than most doctors have a huge amount of experience at 3x4. You've been in the longevity space for a very long time, and now we've been serious. Like, what do you see as being the future? Because one of the challenges I'm seeing is that it's really easy to think that this idea of health span and lifespan is a really elitist experience that is really only for those who can only like really afford the most things. Like, I see NextHealth doing something different. What do you think the future looks like in terms of this longevity space?
I think that's a great question. So I do think that the future hopefully will hold. And I think, you know, AI as an example is something that is right in front of my eyes in real time, changing so many things. And so I think that that's going to help to democratize a lot of this. But to your point, not long ago, and for the most part still presently, the vast majority of longevity medicine is happening in cash pay, high dollar, concierge VIP realms. NextHealth was really founded to help take care of and service those populations, but also really the goal was to bring this to a larger population with low cost entry memberships. You know, for most people, like I live in Los Angeles, where, you know, we're offering these things to people, but some of them have an infrared sauna in their home, or they have a hyperbaric oxygen chamber. That's not the case for most people, as you probably know. I know you have all of these things that you.
I don't have any of those. I have none of those.
But that was the point of NextHealth, was to offer low cost of entry memberships where people can get access to all these things in one place.
And that's what my experience was like I could access those things without having to have like a $50,000 a year membership.
Right.
I could also like dabble a little bit without feeling overwhelmed by it. So I really think NextHealth is doing an amazing job.
Well,
and I'm very excited to see what the expansion looks like.
Me too.
Of course, we're very excited that 3x4 will be part of that expansion?
Oh, and 3x4 is a really big part of that because like you said, so we use 3x4 for all our executive member packages because we want to be able to, the way that I describe it to patients is we have tons of biomarkers that we sit down with them for. And I say the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna set the table with your genetic profile. Let's see what, based on your genetics, we might expect to see.
Love it.
And then I kind of explain to them, and you tell me if you would alter this at all, but then we're gonna see what the epigenetics is telling us with your biomarkers. We're gonna put those two things together, but now with the 3x4, we have this epic database of why we might be seeing some of these biomarkers, and instead of just throwing some solutions at them, we can have a more precision-based approach to them.
Do you know that I could not have said it better?
I think that was pretty good.
I feel like I taught you everything you know. Beautiful. Thank you, Dr. Jeff.
Sure,
for
you're welcome.
joining us
It was
today.
great spending some more time with you.
Spending time. Lovely seeing you.